Oh shit. Here we go again.
Hello and welcome to I hope you enjoyed the gameplay of Lavos against level 9199 Steel Path enemies in Warframe. Now this is the second build for Lavos in my channel, as previously we take him to level cap with Quiver. And if you know, in my channel I already mentioned I want to take every Warframe to level cap with different helmet abilities that I see fit. And if we take a Warframe with a certain helmet ability, the next video we take him to level cap, it will be with different helmet ability. So I give all Thanos out there variety of options to choose from, depends on what helmet and what style they like the most. Now the reason we're making a second build for Lavos for level cap is because he received a new augment called the Lingering Transmutation after the update Valis Undermine, so to keep my community always updated and to give you my feedback about this augment. And as always, we start with beginners friendly approach for Thanos trying to learn about Lavos Prime in a very easy way and methods to understand, and I do my best. Now Lavos, energy and universal orbs. The universal orbs is the one that gives health and energy same time. Gives Lavos statue immunity for 10 seconds. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking already about pairing Lavos with Oberon. Yes, it's great. It's very powerful. Now, hold any ability to imbue the next cast with additional elemental damage and statues. This is what gets a lot of Thanos confused. Now, if you hold the first ability, you will imbue your next attack with Toxin. I'm saying your next cast, not attack by weapons. Cast. So for example, if I imbue my first ability with Toxin and I cast the fourth ability, it will hit with Toxin. So that's the point here. So first ability, Toxin. Second ability, Cold. Third ability, Electricity. Fourth ability, Heat. And the beauty about this is that actually you can combine things. So for example, if I want to go with Toxin, and then I mix it with Heat with the fourth ability, I get Gas, and then I just hit them, for example, with any ability I want. Let's say the fourth one. There you go, you see the gas stats in there. Now if I want to get, for example, corrosive, I use the third ability and first ability, I get corrosive, and there you go, boom, they have corrosive stacks in there. Now if I want, for example, viral, I can use the second ability and the first ability, I get viral, and then cast any other ability and I get that stuff. Now the third ability and the fourth ability are kind of AoE. The first one, it's like a bit niche when it comes to AoE because it doesn't actually hit big area and stuff like that. Now the third one, the second one is just like you slide, broken cold, and that doesn't take away the statue from that, let's say, ability itself. So for example, if I imbue Toxin and then I hit the third ability, which costs electricity anyway, you will get Toxin and electricity. So it doesn't remove the element from that ability. It actually goes separated. You see, they don't actually mix. And that's really, really nice and plays very good with CO builds. Now, you can approach him in many different ways, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. Now, the passive got an amazing augment called the Valence Formation. Passive augment, casting an ability imbued with extra elemental damage. Apply that element as 200% bonus to your weapon with guaranteed status for 20 seconds. That means if I want to go, for example, corrosive in my weapon, without building for corrosive, I can. Simple as that. By using the third ability and the first ability, and then casting any ability, I get that. Now, you need to equip, of course, the augment, which is the Valence I just showed you right here, which is this one, the Valence Formation. So let's try really quick. Check this out. First ability, and then third ability, and then casting a, like for example, the fourth ability. There you go. Boom. You get yourself the 200% corrosive out there, and it's guaranteed. Okay, if I just put in my Sedu, which is modded, look at that. You see corrosive? My dual toxic is modded for viral, but I get corrosive for free right there from this guy. And that's really, really, really powerful, Tano. Now, when it comes to the first ability, Ophidian Bite, lash out with a toxic serpentine strike, consuming the target to heal Lavos. Really good, really nice. Hold to imbue all with toxin, you already know about that. But you pay attention here, all his abilities, they don't use energy. Because he actually doesn't have energy. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And that actually, let's say, it's good and bad. Now, it's good for low-level content, low to mid-game, let's say, enemies under level 500, maybe under 1000, but it's bad because it affects your survivability when you want to actually shield gate, which is actually the best way to survive in Warframe, which is shield gating. That's what we have available right now. Or even if you're invisible, Shock Iximus will take you out. Or let's say, for example, the green Iximus will take, Jade Iximus will take you out anyway. So you want always to have shield gating. He loses that because he doesn't have energy, and that's bad for him, but we will try to do our best to fix that for him in a way or another. Now, Ophidian Bite got an augment called Swift Bite. Cool. Now listen, reduce ability cooldowns by 4 seconds when at least 4 enemies are hit. Ophidian Bite is granted 30% ability range. Now, if I put that augment in here, Swift Bite, right here, and check this out, because all his ability works in a cooldown, they don't use energy. So I cast the first ability, look at that, I hit more than 4 enemies, and then check this out, boom, and then it takes it down by 4. It doesn't mean it takes it down by 4 means you will have it, you can spam it over and over and over again. That means you need to use other abilities to reduce his cooldown, because his abilities works together as a kit. So technically what you want to do is actually spam the hell out of his ability, and that's why I said it's good that he doesn't have any energy. So I can just keep spamming and spamming and spamming and spamming and spamming. Now the trick about Lavos is not just randomly spamming, is you want to imbue your stuff with electricity, corrosive, getting heat in there, blah 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 blah. So you need eventually to, let's say, get used to his kit before you take it to the end game. And here is a trick. You can hit 2 abilities at the same time to imbue your weapon with corrosive immediately. For example, if I want to imbue my weapon with corrosive immediately, I can hit the first ability and the third at the same time. Look, boom. Okay, now if I want to get, for example, let's say viral, I can hit the first and second same time. And this is the way DE did it, so it like helps you a bit with let's say, you know, casting and understanding Lavos, because he's a bit hard to play and he's hard to survive at the end game. But when it comes to low and mid game, he is really powerful and nukes, baby. He doesn't joke around. Now, second ability, Viral Rush, dash forward, crushing through enemies and leaving an icy trail to broken. Really nice. Slows in enemies and frees them and all that kind of stuff. Really good stuff. Now, the Transmutation Probe, and the reason we're making actually a video today and make me go to level cap again with another handmade ability, because it received a new augment called the Lingering Transmutation. Probe augment. Probe returns to Lavos after reaching max range and remains nearby for 15 seconds. Recall probe by casting and recast again to end. Simple as that. Now, what it does, launch a probe that converts health and energy orb into universal orbs, provides health and ammo pickups into universal ammo pickups. The probe shocks enemies in close proximity. Each electrocuted foe reduced other ability cooldown by 1.5 seconds. This is why the probe is something you don't want to take away from Lavos, because it really helps with the cooldown reduction on his kit. Also, it gives you the universal orbs for his passive. Very, very important, and it's one of the good abilities that he have that you don't want it to take away. And it's really amazing. Check this out. For example, boom. Look, you see that? It works as a CC. Also, it reduces the cooldown on those enemies. Really good stuff. Now, when we move on to the fourth ability, Catalyze. Catalyze probe erupt from Lavos, and those combatant in a fairy gel. Damage is doubled for each element afflicting an enemy. Now, this is how he become Nuke. Hold to imbue the next ability cast with heat. Now, combining the Transmutation probe with all the elements that you have, with reducing cooldown from Ophidian Bite, then with Catalyze, and you can create a very powerful nuke Warframe. You can even go, for example, with Mecha Set, and I will show you that in a second, how you can nuke maps with this guy for low to mid game. Let's go. Now, as always, before I build my weapons and my Warframes, I rely on my method called the DVS. D how I be dealing damage, V how I proc viral, S how I strip enemies armor. Now, Lavos, give or take, low to mid game, he can nuke the map and he's good to go. But at the end game, nuking the map, not an option. Even if he could, it's not an option. Because his survivability is really tough. Because he can't shield gate. Now, if you don't like my methods on how I proc viral and armor strip in today's video, you can check the sheet right here. It can help you maneuver around that to help yourself with a different style. Now, I'll be running 2 Emerald Darkon shards to push the stacks of Corrosive from 10 to 14. Corrosive can be from his kit. You don't need to mod for any Corrosive. So we're gonna mod for Viral, because we're gonna subsume his second ability with another helmet. It can be Nourish, it can be whatever you want, but I highly recommend that you focus on abilities that give you more survivability. Now, in the previous video, I did Quiver here, and it was very comfortable, as I can sit down and I can just play around with the different elements and hit enemies with different elements. Very comfortable, but promise is a promise. I told you, every time I take a Warframe to level cap, the same Warframe, it will be with different helmet abilities. Now, ability duration, and casting speed, and that's pretty much it. Now, you need to learn something in Warframe, Shield Gate. Shield Gate in Warframe, you can do it either with abilities, or you can do it with certain mods. Certain mods will require energy consumption, and we lose the right since he doesn't have any energy. Now, if we use, let's say, Shield Gating abilities, they will go actually in a cooldown when we use them. Okay, so for example, if you go Condemn, it goes cooldown. If you go, for example, Pillage, goes cooldown, and you can. They are not just reliable. So you need something like invisibility, or you need something like distracting enemies, locking them, whatever. Okay, so you get that. Now, previously, this is the build we did for him on this. Now, you want to update this build with the Crepuscular if you want to go with the Quiver. It's really easy to understand, easy, simple build. You just go invisible like this, or you can just run around and hit the invisibility on your companion when the cooldown just gets out. Hold on, just give it a second. Boom, and here you go. Boom, and you can just run around. Quiver doesn't. But today's video is not about Quiver, it's actually about Resonator. Now, Resonator is a Octavia helmet ability, and remember, Tano, always remember, any build you see, wherever, your friends, the internet, discords, anywhere, it's always based on the maker style or what he thinks is best. You don't have to copy it blindly. You can always switch it, flip it, however you see fit, and what makes you happy and enjoy the game, okay? Now, the reason my builds are the best, because I try my best to make them the best, is they are a balance between survivability and damage. That's the technique I'm using. I can make him nuke, and I will show you in a second with Mecha Set, but you will fail at level cap and you will come back saying behind your build is bad, and I don't want that. So, how are we surviving? Now, Worthy Camaraderie, Squad receives 75% weak point critical chance. You can use whatever you want in here. If you're going with melee, use whatever. Primal Sure-Footed, so you resist knockdown. I know. Passive, statue immunity, blah 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 blah. Yes, but it doesn't work all the time. You don't know what situation you're gonna get yourself in, and you don't want to get knocked down, especially with Lavos. You don't have any shield gating, you don't have anything, and it's not healthy. It's just not healthy. So try not to go without Prime Sure-Footed. If you don't have Prime Sure-Footed, because it's a longer reward, and I hope DE decides one day to make it as Baruki tier. So Handspring is the way to go for now. Now, or you can use the normal Sure-Footed right there, and you're good to go as well. But if you're going to low and mid game, just take it off. You don't need it at all. Keep that in mind. So don't say this build is about sure-footed. Now, you need to understand that Lavos, he is a weapon carrier at the end game. He will not be sitting and nuking like low to mid game. And when you go low to mid game, yes, you can build him for damage reduction, more health, more shield, more strength, more range, and boom, 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 destroying the world. Yes, but at level cap, things are different because enemies scale on their EHP, means on their health, overguard, and shields, and also they scale on their damage output. That's why I take things to level cap, not as a show off, but to make sure that the Warframe survives that level. A lot of Thanos may say, Hunk, it doesn't matter, any Warframe can go with shield recharging, or any Warframe can go with invisibility, or any Warframe can go with shield gating. Yes, but every Warframe has a different kit. Now Lavos offers so much, like he has so much amazing things he offers that Styanax doesn't offer, Zaku doesn't offer, and the same goes around. Zaku have things that Lavos doesn't offer, and so on, so on, so it doesn't make sense when you write comments like that, really, because every Warframe has a unique kit. So, Rolling Guard for bad situation, and I promise you, you will need it. Vigilante Vigor, Fast Deflection is for the shield recharge with Arcane Aegis. Now, you need to understand what's going on in here. So, I try to push my shield recharge. So, think about it like this. If I find myself in a way that I'm dying, I can just go Operator, and my shield recharge will just kick in. Because you need to learn something about Warframe. You have shield. And if you lose all your shields, you will need 4 seconds to start regenerating your shields. And if you lose part of your shield, you need 1 second to start regenerating your shields. And if, let's say, you're taking damage on your shields, you will never recharge your shield. There is 2 ways to do that. Either Arcane Aegis or the Grimoire technique. Grimoire technique, I find it very, very specific, and I don't like it at all. Because you have to take the Grimoire every single time you're playing a shield recharging. I don't like it. So, Grimoire out of the way, but okay, you can dig on wiki about Grimoire and the shield recharging and the mods for the special mods for Grimoire, how it works and all that. Go for that. Now, Arcane Aegis is the only way in the game, of course, as an arcane, and you can take damage and your shield will be recharging. So as long as Arcane Aegis is active and you don't have magnetic statue on you, you can live forever. Nothing will be able to kill you. So I will show you how we are surviving with this build. Stretch for range, Lingering Transmutation for the Probe Augment, the Valence Formation, Swift Bite, Continuity for Toxin to Corrosive. Now, Arcane Impetus, unique statue effect from abilities, grants 6% ability strength and 3% ability efficiency for 20 seconds. Now, the efficiency here would do the statue duration, scales with ability duration, modify the duration of any statues dealt by Lavos with either abilities or weapons, and the efficiency modifies ability cooldown reduction granted by Transmutation Probe. You see how things works here as a combination, right? And sorry, I think I said something mistaken there, but whatever, you get the point here, okay, if you're following the build to the T. Now, Resonator, 21 meter, Min charm 8 meter to max charm 21 meter. The idea is to distract as many enemies as possible so you can actually kill them. So that's pretty much the idea here. So if we take a look at this, let's just like unpause those enemies. Summoning level, let's say you guys wanting the Manik, right? The Manik, Dakar Bombard Manik. There you go. Let's summon these guys. Alright, and now just like hit them with the second ability, which is a Resonator, and then we want to imbue ourselves, let's say, with Electricity and Corrosive. Hit the fourth ability, goes with second ability as always, and then we can use this first ability. We can prime the enemies, we can like do whatever the hell we want. As you can see, they are really tough enemies. Now what we want, for example, we can imbue Heat, Toxin, and then hit with the fourth ability. I find out that Toxin, corrosive, let's say gas, on this guy is the best element to go if you really want to kill even level cap. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Gas is really powerful on this guy. So now I lost my shield, but then I got my shield recharge kicked in. You saw how fast it kicked in? That's exactly what I'm saying. So there you go, fourth ability. I'll hit those enemies with gas. First ability to hit them with Toxin. And then let's say we use, for example, Toxin, and then third ability for Corrosive. And the more elements we have on these guys, and then we activate the fourth ability with gas, the faster they will actually die. Look at that. So think about it like this. He is an element carrier until for level cap and use your weapons. But for low to mid game, we can do things a bit different. For example, if we take this build that I have, Mecha Empowered and Swift Bite, Mecha Pulse, and all that kind of stuff, okay? What we can do in here, we can just equip one of my companions. Let's say, of course it has to be a Kobru. So let's pick, for example, let's say the Haras. Let's see the build for it really quick. Yeah, Mecha Recharge in there. And yeah, we got here the Mecha Overdrive. Okay, so the mecha set, what it does exactly is Mecha Empowered. Squad deals 150% extra damage against marked enemy. Companion marks target every 15 seconds for 12 seconds. Killing the target will apply the statue effect to all enemies within 30 meters. And that's exactly what we want to do. Alright, so we unpause those guys. Now, as you can see in here, we will have a little bit of survivability issues here and there. But worry not, because we're going to be killing them in no time. Alright. Go. Now if you look, I'm not recharging any shields and it took so long, and all we want to wait for here is making sure that our companion kicks in, but he's dead. And this is the perfect example I wanted to show you against this Dikar Manik, because this is exactly how things will be at level cap. So if we redo this really quick and we use heavy corrupted gunners really quick, so you understand the difference between the end game and the mid game, and then I just pause these guys, and then I will just like use first ability, fourth ability, hit them with gas, third ability, first ability, use the third ability in there, second ability to proc the cold in them using Sedo, and there you go, nuke the map. That's the difference. Okay, and you can do that to the Manik, but the damage you're taking and your survivability always is unbalanced. So you have to balance that out, and balancing that out is really hard and harder than it looks. And now, as a conclusion of this lingering transmutation augment, it is nice, it's not bad, but I don't think I will be using it in his build, as he already taking two powerful augments in there, and I don't think lingering transmutation really necessary, so I would take it off for something else. If you ask me what something else would be, could be the Prime Redirection, could be anything that really I want, okay? More range, more strength, you name it, up to you, whatever you want in there, I would just switch it for that. It's not that powerful compared to his other two augments, and honestly, 3 augments in one Warframe, I think it's a bit too much. But I know, if you don't like... Hello, Lotus. If you don't like, let's say, today helmet ability, you can feel free to explore and play with any helmet ability you want. If you want my quiver, it's already in the channel and I showed it in today's video as well. But feel free to experiment with any helmet you want until I take another helmet ability to level cap and I confirm the build works. Because I can tell you this ability works, this ability works, this ability works just based on my experience. But I really don't like to say that, because I always want to give you and provide for the community builds that actually tested to level cap, not just I think so, okay, or someone told me so. So special thanks to everyone that watched today's video and made it this far. I know this video is long, but I try to squeeze as much information as it there. There will be timestamps, of course, for the tenors that are in hurry and want to copy the builds really quick without learning anything, and I respect that everyone have a time limit. Like, subscribe, let me know in the comments below what you think. Join my Discord link in the description. Follow me on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Special thanks to Hall of members, special VIPs, and disputed donators, Hall of donations, and everyone in my community. And see you guys next time.